What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Protocol Pegasus here, bringing back to you guys in Remnant from the Ashes, and today we'll be taking a look at my all-new build, the Unstoppable Storm. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so my character sheet is as followed. For my handgun, I am using the twin shot. Attached onto his weapon mod known as Swarm. For my long gun, I'm using Ricochet Rifle. Attached onto his weapon mod known as Unstoppable Quills. For my melee weapon, I'm using the Lost Harpoon. Attached onto is the perk known as Power Strike. For my hat, I'm using the Ritual's Hat Skin, which is the perk attached onto it known as Blood Pact. This is from the Cultist set. From there, I'm using the Mystic Armor Skin for my chest piece and my leggings. The perk attached onto it is known as Power Surge. This is from the Labyrinth set. And then for my necklace, I'm using Vulcan's Detonator. Then for my ring, I'm using Spirit Stone, and then I'm using a Burden of the Follower as my second ring. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump over into traits. Alright, so the three primary traits that you should pick up for this particular build are going to be as followed. We'll scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you will see one of the primary traits you should pick up is known as Spirit. Mod power generation increased by 25%. From there, you should pick up Demolitionist. Explosion damage increased by 15%. And then from there, if you wanted to, you can pick up your Evocation. Mod damage increased by 15%. Now, I've said it once before and I'll say it again. I do recommend going for every trait within the course of the game to tie into any build you happen to be doing, because everything synergizes really nicely to one another. And from there, you can just capitalize on being able to use everything, because there is no set cap limit for this game. As you can clearly see, I have every trait and maxed at 20. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump over and do some gameplay. Real quick, guys, just wanted to let you know that 94% of you guys that do end up watching my content happen to enjoy it aren't subscribed, so just be sure to subscribe. It really helps me out, and if you don't like me, you can always unsubscribe later. Thanks, guys. So one of the particular pros for this type of setup would happen to be is that you are going to have a lot of burst potential in regards to whether it's single target or AoE. As you can see, when I end up throwing out my spores here, they end up chasing and seeking targets that I've recently hit, as well as targets that I recently come in contact with. With that being said, I can easily mow down enemies that happen to be in front of me or behind me without even taking a second glance at them. This makes me a really deadly target, even if I happen to be on the move or just standing still. This also works super effectively against bosses. Another cool aspect too is that because you happen to have the quills that it's tied into the necklace known as the Vulcan Detonator, your quills not only do explosive damage, but they also put people on fire, which will allow you to not only double the explosion damage off the normal proc of the quills, but it will allow you to ignite people on fire as well, making it so that way not only does it burn that set person you hit them with, but it also burns everyone around that set person. So you can clear out a group of ads easily just by applying these quills onto your target and being able to force them to either get staggered or to just instantly die. So it makes it really nice to be able to clear out a pretty big room rather quickly. What's also a cool concept is too is that this is also amplified from the Labyrinth armor that you happen to be utilizing in this build set, just because of the fact that the Labyrinth armor will increase your mod damage output by a pretty significant margin. So you'll be able to consistently be able to mow down your enemies and to not really have to worry about too much of your damage being falled off, just because of the fact that you're just primarily using mods to capitalize on most of your damage. So it works out really well. As you can see here too, I am a little bit more tankier because the Labyrinth set is a little bit more of a heavier set, so the defense output is higher. So it's definitely something to note when coming across multiple groups of enemies, or just end up getting caught off guard. Another cool aspect with this particular build is too, as you can see, I am using the Ricochet Rifle. The ricochet rifle does allow me to continuously hit enemies regardless if I can go about seeing them or not. That's what you saw before in that previous clip where I was aiming at the wall. I was able to ricochet off of those enemies that I happen to be hitting, and from there just continuously do damage to them without actually seeing them. Just because of the fact the ricochet rifle can not only hit your target more than once, but it can bounce off selective other targets and then repeatedly keep striking your main target. So all in all, you're consistently doing multiple AoE damage, and you're still consistently doing really nice single target damage. So it does work and synergize very, very effectively. One of the drawbacks to this particular build, however, is the fact that you can easily blow yourself up, so you want to be super cautious in that regard, because if you do end up using your quills too close to you, you will catch the effects off the quills, which will apply corrosive and burn damage to you. So you want to be really cautious in that regard, because if that does end up happening, you do end up getting caught out, and from there you end up taking a lot more damage than you wanted to go about doing so. Another factor is with this too is that if you're playing on multiplayer, this also will kill your teammate, so you want to be somewhat cautious of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it also makes for an epic troll build, so it works out really well. Unfortunately, the Vulcan's Detonator does not tie into the swarm, from what I had noticed, so from there I didn't really bother trying so heavily to focus in with it. I just really like the swarm because at the end of the day, it's one of those things that consistently has your back. It does really nice single target output damage, and it's just overall kill potential is just really, really high. So with the swarm, it makes it really nice to be able to run these types of particular modes, so it works out rather well. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna let this play out a little bit in the background so you can just see the true potential of the actual build in all its glory at the end of the day, because I think it came out really well. One thing to note too is that if you haven't noticed already, in the upper right hand corner of the mini map, that is not a yellow icon, that is a blue icon. This build is in the city on Earth on Apocalypse, so this would be my first ever Apocalypse build. All my other builds work relatively well on Nightmare mode. You can probably play them a little bit more in depth and detailed on Apocalypse. I just never bothered to give it a shot, but at the end of the day, yeah, with everything maxed down and with everything geared up, Apocalypse really isn't too challenging, especially with this particular build. But don't take my word for it. Go out, try this build for yourself, and let me know what you guys think. And if you guys really happen to like the build, just post down below in the comment section and let me know what you guys want to see more of. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. Definitely helps me out a lot. I appreciate all the support I've been given thus far with all my videos on my channel. It really helps me out a lot, guys. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it, guys. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day if you aren't having one already. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys real soon. Later.